Hello, everyone. I hope you can all hear me, and I hope I'm in the right room. We've been having slight technical difficulties, but we'll see how everything gets on today. We are down to our next panel, our next not panel, our next presentation. My apologies, and it's going to be how to do business with Tiger Brands. And our presentation today is done by Litha Kutta, who's enterprise and supply development director for Tiger Brands South Africa. So we've been having an interesting conversation backstage, and he is going to take us through how to be able to navigate the system that was not created for small businesses. I do hope you enjoy this session, and don't forget to fill in the polls on your right hand side. So over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Harriet. Good day to everyone. My name is Litha Kutta. As it was said, I'm from Tiger Brands. I'm responsible for enterprise and supply development. Basically, my role at Tiger Brands is to assist the organization to drive transformation and help small businesses to supply to Tiger Brand. And also, we do also work with distributors to take Tiger Brand's products to the market. So the purpose of today, this presentation, is just to give you some insight into how we do business as Tiger Brands, and also how do we deal with small businesses in a manner that we support them to get into our supply chain. Right. So Tiger Brands, as a background, is the biggest food manufacturer in not just in South Africa, but in Africa. We are pretty much a company that sources a lot of products in the agricultural space. So if you look at how our procurement is set up, agriculture takes the bulk of our procurement, purely because we use the inputs in agriculture to make the products that we supply to the market, right? So agriculture will help me talking a lot about it. But over and above that, we also a company that also provides home care products. We've got, for an example, if you go and buy Doom, which is a pesticide, the Retex, also part of that is also our products. We also have got personal care products. For an example, if you buy Ingram's Comfort Cream, that's also one of our products. So pretty much we've got these three sort of areas that we do procurement. And the way that we are set up basically is that we've got agriculture, where we do all our procurement of products that are relating to agriculture. Then we've got procurement for operations. Because as a company, we the biggest, we've got a lot of factories. So those factories have got machinery, there's engineering services that are part of that. There's industrial cleaning of those that infrastructure. We also do a lot of capex because we build factories. Sometimes when we disinvest, we have to demolish those factories. In between, when we keep our operations, we also maintain those factories. So there's a lot of capex that goes into what we do, right? And then the third portion is the support, because you've got the product that we produce, we've got the raw material that we buy, we've got the factories that are manufacturing, and then there's the support service that comes to it. For an example, we buy a lot of packaging that we use to package the products that we are buying. We also do a lot of logistics, because from our factories, we need to move products to our clients. Pretty much the clients that we have are your big retailers that you all know in the market, right? We also move products between our factories, right? So there's a lot of logistics that happens at Tiger Brands. Over and above that, we've got IT, we've got HR services, we've got finance services, we've got legal services, we've got branding, because we've got a lot of brands out there as a food manufacturer. So there's a lot of marketing and branding support services that we buy. So that's pretty much how we sit as a company. And the way that we buy for each bucket is not the same. And I want to emphasize that, because that is where sometimes small entrepreneurs get lost in the system. So when it comes to agriculture, we do what is called we allow unsolicited bids. This is where people can pitch to say, hi, my name is Mr. X or Miss Y, and I've got a farm and I want to farm for Tiger Brands. That you can come at any time. to do. We pretty much very open to that. Obviously, if you're in agriculture, you'll understand that agriculture works in seasons, right? So timing is important, but we always say come at any time, and hopefully if you know agriculture well, you know exactly that you need to at least come 6 months before you plant, right? Even if you come after 6 months, we can then engage to look and explore whether there are opportunities for the next season. So it's never a closed window, basically. Right, and also procurement, because we do it in a trading format. Every year we continuously looking for suppliers, more especially for agriculture products that we are importing into South Africa. We are looking in some instances to do import replacement by driving and supporting local farmers in order for us to stop importing products that could be made locally. Right. So that's how we work in agriculture. Currently, which is something we're going to be launching in June, we are building a platform where it's going to allow people to actually go into our platform and then put their details around their farm size, whether they've got water rights in those farms, whether they are leasing the farm or they own the land. And the nice thing is that whether the land is owned by traditional authority or it's owned by government or private ownership, we work with all types of farming, entities, right? So at least that allows someone to come in, regardless how you've actually got the farm, as long as there's security of tenure, right? And in agriculture, I will also touch in, before I close in, what type of support do we actually provide for the agriculture enterprises once they interface with us. So as it is now, people that wants to come to agriculture, we've got an email that we ask them to actually email us. It's called esd@tigerbrands.com. Once you email that, and we are able to start to look at it. But as from June onwards, all of that will be automated, such that as soon as you are done with your application, the system will tell you exactly whether you are successful or not. We're trying to speed up the process of onboarding black suppliers. Right. Then the second part, if you remember, when I did the introduction, I spoke about that we do operations procurement and support procurement. Again, operations has to do with all the factories that we have. You support, as I said, it's logistics and all the other stuff to support the operations. We, in that space, use a tendering process. And I'm saying this because that says that they don't look an unsolicited bid. So people, you can't just rock up and say, hey, I'm X, I want to supply this service. And because they will tell you that you need to bid. Again, that depends whether there is an opportunity at that time or not. So I'm not discouraging people from coming and pitching at any given time, but I'm making people aware that when you come and pitch, right, let's say you're an engineering company, you come and pitch, the person you're talking to can only tell you when that opportunity will be open. They are not allowed to even look at your application and say, we are going to adjudicate it, because in that space, they don't use unsolicited bids. They are not allowed to do that. Everything has to be worked through a competitive process where people are competing, right? And the challenge then for black entrepreneurs in a space like that is that for one to participate, one has to be invited, because they use what is called a closed tender system, right? Only government uses an open tender system where everything has to be tendered out so that the public can see it and then they can come and contest for opportunities. What the situation of closed tender system, which is not something that is used by Tiger, by the way, every corporate company uses a closed tender system. You will never see an advert, for an example, of Pick and Pay if they've got a tender, or Standard Bank, right, or Group 5. You're just never going to see it because they use a closed tender system. The only thing that companies do is that they then build a database of companies where they can go register as part of showing interest. Then when an opportunity comes, whenever that is, depending how long the contracts they have with existing suppliers, then only then they will go there and they will do what is called, you get market intelligence, where you go out to look who are other suppliers that are out there. So one of the things we always encourage people is that register in as many databases as possible, because in some instances as a company, we go to those databases if we've got specific needs for specific companies. So what we've done as Tiger Brands, because we realize this is a problem, is that we've partnered with a bid hub. It's an incubator that supports SMMEs to bid for opportunities. So people register at the bid hub, and once you've registered there, it becomes a waiting game. Again, some people have registered, and within a month, the opportunity comes, and that's how luck works, right? But some would wait for months, some would wait for years, because we can only go there to look at that database when the contract with the existing supplier is up for renewal, and we decide as Tiger Brands that we're not going to extend it, or if we extend it, maybe we're going to reduce the scope. We want to go out and find other suppliers. So the Bid Hub basically database helps us then for all the black entrepreneurs to go in there and register. And once they register, as opportunity comes, we'll always, it could be two every month or two, we give the Bid Hub to say, we're looking for this type of company, look into your database, right? The nice thing is that they don't just work with us, they also work with other corporates. So it allows someone to have a broader scope, right? And then if you want to go to their website, it's www.thebidhub.co.za. That is their website. You can go in and click. There's a link to do the registration, and that is how we normally then would work. Some people do come straight to us, and the only thing we can do when they come to us to check whether there is an opportunity or not. If there is, then you still need to register with the Bid Hub, so that when we do the sourcing, we don't want to work in emails, because if I leave Tiger Brands and your proposal is with me, that information get to be lost. That's why we prefer to work in a very automated process. So basically, those are the ways to which we help entrepreneurs. The Bid Hub for all the services, that way there is a tendering or proposal that we need, and also we're building a platform, as I said, for agriculture that it's going to be on in June this year. Okay. Then, what type of support then do we provide to people that comes to us? Is that once you've come to the Bid Hub and there's an opportunity, the first thing that we do is that we match you with the opportunity, and then we match you with procurement, and also we help you put your proposal very nicely, because it's not about knowing about the opportunity, it's making sure that you've got a winning proposal. And many small businesses lose opportunity to big businesses because their proposal are not professionally done. It's what I'm saying is a fact, right? And I understand why is that, because big companies have got tender offices that they hire people whose job is to put good looking tender documents. And we've picked that as a problem, so we help entrepreneurs to put their proposals. The only thing we don't do, we don't tell you the price. We're not allowed to do that. We also can't tell you what scope of expertise you should be finishing. We just help you to make sure that you beautify and you answered all the questions, because some have lost opportunities because they didn't attach a tax clearance certificate, right? Like things like that. So we also check for compliance to make sure that you stand the best chance. We also help you to put together a presentation so that when you're shortlisted, you need to present, you are able to go in and you present. The discretion to take you lies with procurement. We are not even involved in that process because it's a competitive process, right? So that's the first thing to do, which is part of sourcing. So once you are successful with the opportunity, we then come and then say, okay, do you have the resources to deliver on the opportunity? And there are many instances where people say, I don't have the money, I need this, I need that. We do have a 100 million fund where then we help you put a proposal again, second one, which is a financial business case, to go to our fund to apply for money so that we can supply to Tiger Brands. And that process is within my control. Again, we still have got external people who makes the decision whether to fund or not, depending on the strength of the proposal itself. So once that has been approved, let's say hypothesis approved, then we provide business support so that we can strengthen your your managerial expertise if you need it. It's not compulsory, right? Because some entrepreneurs, they just need money. They've got everything sorted out. So we do have optional capacity building that we provide to strengthen the capacity of the entrepreneur to deliver. Right. So once that is done, then we help you with the onboarding just to make sure that everything is smooth with procurement and we are able to deliver. Okay. And then we'll do quarterly checks with procurement, making sure that the entrepreneur is performing well. If there are issues, we step in and we provide the support. Right. So that's what we do on the tendering side. On the agriculture side, similarly, once you come to us and we look at your proposal, you're planting the right crop at the right place, you're going to give us the right size. So part of what we do then is that we introduce you to procurement, we help you put a proposal to procurement. Once it's approved, then we help you put a business case to our fund so that you can get input finance, because we only do input finance in agriculture. We don't do infrastructure finance. Our funding is just not big enough to allow for us to do that. But we are having strategic partners like the Land Bank. We've just signed an agreement. We're busy now with 2 of the 4 banks in South Africa to have collaborative funding to fund small scale farmers so that they are able to deliver on some of our products that we have. Right. So once you've applied for funding, but we also provide technical support, agrarian support that you might need, right? Because there are farmers that might need, access to infrastructure, right? Like your mechanization. So things like trucks, you want to lease a truck or a planter or a harvester, that we do, right? But things that we don't do is to put money for irrigation. That's just too much for the size of the fund that we have. But also we funded entrepreneurs where they would look for a specialist in pest control, right? And we are able to provide that type of support. We find a consultant who comes in and help with that. Again, we'll do an analysis with the farming enterprise to look at all those gaps and then find a way to close them. But we do provide funding with that. The nice thing is that once you get in agriculture, it's up to you, how big you can be, because we are such a big buyer as Tiger Brands, right? That will give you enough scope to grow your farming enterprise, right? So basically, for me, that is how we work at Tiger Brands, right? And the last part that I want to cover, which is in support of what I've just explained, is that there is a need for Black entrepreneurs to understand, more especially small ones, to understand how to do business with the big corporates, because many of them are not exposed to it. Is that part of what we need to be supporting them is on the etiquette side. We do find guys who are very aggressive in the system, such that I know the procurement teams. So we do appeal to entrepreneurs that you gotta work with the system if you want the system to work for you, right? Our job as Enterprise and Supplier Development Division is to work with you. We fight your battles in terms of unlocking opportunities for small SMMEs. But as Black SMMEs, more especially the small ones, need to contest for those opportunities. And also one has to understand, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win. It's just the way that it is. But it's important that the way you carry yourself in the process doesn't make the system not want to look at you later on. We've had instances of people that just didn't, behave in a correct manner, and the procurement teams just don't want to deal with that person again. And when those opportunities open up again, they don't get to be considered. So for us, it's just to emphasize the point of just making sure that you work with the ESD teams, making sure that you work with the process, because once you understand the process and people get comfortable with you, because in procurement, they do tend to work with people they are comfortable with. Our job as ESD divisions is to make sure that we create a bridge between the entrepreneurs and procurement so that they get to be exposed to small businesses, but also get to know who you are and get comfortable, so that if you get an opportunity now, which is great, you can do business. If you don't, you still stand a chance that you can come back later, and because of the way that you've carried yourself in the process, and also learned out of the process, because one of the key things is you gotta learn a lot out of the process, so that when you come back for the second time, you know how to navigate the system far more better. But for you to do that, you must allow yourself to be coach guided, into the right direction and all of that. So for me, that becomes very important, because that's part of how you get into corporate supply chain. It's the manner to which you carry yourself in the process, and leaning on your enterprise and supply development to assist you, because they are there to assist you. You might not be successful, but they'll do their best to support you into your endeavors. And again, if you don't get it now, it doesn't mean you can't get it the next time. I think let me stop now, then I can take questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Litha. I don't know if anyone's got any questions. You can have a look on the right-hand side to see if anyone's submitted any questions or anything. I'm having to use my phone because of internet issues. I've got firewalls in all my laptops, which are literally kicking me out. So I'm left to use my phone. If anyone has any questions, please submit them now. I don't know if you can hear me, Mr. Litha. Are you still there?
Yes, I can hear you. I can see there are questions. So one of the question is that do we give letters of intent, right? Okay, I can answer that. Most corporates, it's either you're in or not, right? No one says, I will work with you subjected. It's a very problematic for many corporates to do that, right? The issue is that if you've got the capability, but you lack financing, luckily from our side, we've got our own financing. So we never, work with, put someone in a position where they get rejected because they don't have the financial means, right? For our projects, because we've got our own fund, we do give, our own, letters of commitment to say you have been successful, right? But you can't just come and say, I want a letter. Most people who want that, but to get a letter, you must be evaluated like any normal supplier, and the person who gives you the letter must be 100% sure that you'll do what you need to do. It's just that you need finance. But many people that have come to me, within the first hour of talking to me, they want a letter. And I always tell them it's not going to happen, right? Because you need to be taken through the whole process in terms of due diligence before you get a letter. Luckily, we don't really need it because we've got our own fund, right? But again, it's understanding whether a company provides letter of intent or not. Some I know they do, right? But it's something that I always say to entrepreneurs, understand it upfront. From a Tiger, they don't. Tiger Brands gives a letter of procurement to say you've won. Here is a letter. There is no intent to buy. It's to say we will buy from you. So there's a difference in the manner to which we handle that, right? The second question that I get, they ask how long to do the proposal. Is it 3 months, 6 months? It's not, right? So when you match to an opportunity, right, it means the opportunity is available and there are deadlines to which proposals are done. In many instances, a submission has to be done within a month, right? You don't come in and we say, give us a proposal in 6 months. No. Once you are matched, normally the presentation will be happening within 6 weeks. So it means you have to do your proposal within a month, right? And again, those proposals will help you based on your state of readiness. Our job is to make sure that the proposal is done such that when procurement sees it, they've got a sense of comfort, because many Black entrepreneurs or even small entrepreneurs that are even not Black in some instances get judged by the quality of the proposal. Our job is to make it so invariably we are assuming that the information that is needed for the proposal, the entrepreneur does have it, because we can't generate, we can only enhance the information that they have. All right, but pretty much we're talking here about a month or less, right? Okay, let me look at the other question. Does Tiger Brand fund social responsibility? We do have a different division, which is does all the socioeconomic development. All right, it's a separate division from mine, but it's a sister division because Zolile, who's the head of it, reports to the same person I report to. So we do have pretty much a division that does that. But the focus of Tiger Brands is food security, because we're a foods company. So that's the guide I can tell you. Anything that has to do with food is what we look at. Okay, let me look at another. Right. There is one question here that asks about that Tiger Brand support development of cooperatives, right? We support farmers. We don't support them in a cooperative. Okay, I don't want to get into the drama of cooperatives. We know the drama. So the way that we've structured ourselves is that if there's a cooperative, normally it's a 7-member or plus. Is that when they contract with Tiger, individually they contract. We don't contract a cooperative because they tend to fight, right? Right, others are lazy than the others. We don't want to get into that drama. So we can set the individuals of the co-op as individual members and then support them, right, as individual, but not as a collective within a co-op. Also, secondly, the Cooperative Act is very clear that there's a limited liabilities with the members of the co-op. So meaning if you fund a co-op and the money is squandered, there's a limited liability. You can't take, you can't go for the members of the co-op, which is why banks don't fund cooperatives. That's why for us, co-op, the way we've seen it, is being used as a structure currently that sources inputs for farmers. It's not a trading entity, right? That's how the world has moved away from cooperatives, right? So from a contracting, we contract, PTYs, right? They could still be a member of a co-op. It's not a problem. They can have arrangement where some of the profits get to be aggregated to a co-op. We don't have a problem with those arrangements. But as a company, we don't do it straight because of the notorious infighting that co-ops are known for. Right. Okay, there's someone who's...
Mr. Litha, I'm going to ask you... we need to wrap up this section, but since there's still so many questions, I'm wondering if you would be open to take this to the lobby and that they can move with you, and you could probably go onto one table and they can come in and interact with you and ask questions if you have time.
No, it's fine. You said table number 1. Is that what you said? Yeah, I can do it for the 10 minutes. Table number 1, you can go there. It's fine.
Yes, it is. Yes, table number 1.
Okay.
Thank you very, very much for
Thank you.
all the time that you're putting in and the expertise that you're bringing. So I will let everyone go with Mr. Litha onto, if you go to the lobby and go to table 1, he will be there to answer your questions for 10 minutes before he rushes off. Thank you so much for joining this session, and thank you, Mr. Litha, for your time and everything that you've done. So we do appreciate you very much. Thank you, and I will see you on table number 1.
Thank you very much to everyone, and also to the Smart Procurement team for the invite, and yourself for chairing the session. Thank you.